الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صلى الله على النبي الأمي وعليه صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا مولانا محمد معدن الجد والكرم وعليه وبارك وسلم. We'll just wait a minute or two for everyone so that they can come. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So, in the previous two classes, this is Tafseer Thursday. We're on the 30th juz right now. This is class number 3. And in the first and second class, we have been discussing Surah An-Naba. And in Surah An-Naba, we have went to there's 40 ayats in Surah An-Naba, and we have went to 30 ayats. And inshallah from today we're going to continue from ayat number 31. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So Surah An-Naba, starting from ayat number 31. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna lil muttaqina mafaza hadaiqa wa a'naba wa kawa'iba atraba wa ka'san dihaqa لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. It's the reason why I read the ayats before is so that we can start off with tilawat al-Qur'an. As it's always good to start with the tilawat of the Qur'an. So Alhamdulillah, we have finished almost 30 ayats, and today we are going to finish Surah An-Naba, the Amma Yatasa'alun, that chapter, and inshallah from next class we will start Surah An-Nazi'at. In the previous class number 2, I discussed that Surah An-Naba is divided into 6 parts. The first part is talking as a rejection to the kuffar of Makkah when they were having arguments within each other about the Qiyamah, and we have done the detailed bahas in that in the previous classes. The first part was an answer to them, while the second part of the Qur'an, of the surah, is talking about the Qiyamah, about the favors of that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon the ummah. The third part is talking about the Qiyamah. The fourth part was talking about the hell and basically the situation that would be of those that are in the hellfire. Now today we're going to read about the fifth part and the sixth part. The fifth part is talking about Jannat, about paradise, about heaven, and basically some sifat, some attributes of the heaven. And the last part is again going regarding the Qiyamah, the day of judgment. So now we're talking about the Jannat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Inna lil muttaqina mafaza hadaiqa wa a'naba wa kawa'iba atraba. That indeed for the muttaqeen, for the pious people are achievement. And in this ayat, it's not a direct saying about, it's not directly saying about heaven, that the people that are pious will be given heaven, but is rather talking about the achievement. But the overall from these sentences is that the person is that the ayat is talking about the heaven. And heaven is such a beautiful place, and it will be given to those that have passed away with that passed with iman, and those that were pious. Even those that passed with iman but were sinners and did not do that many good actions, they would first get their if hisab was taken from them, then they would have to take the punishment. But every person that died with iman at the end will go to Jannah, will go to paradise. So paradise is such a beautiful thing, such a beautiful place. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has mentioned in a hadith that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that I was shown heaven, I was shown paradise, and I was shown hell. And there is nothing that was more beautiful that I have seen than heaven. And there is nothing that is more scarier that I have seen than hellfire. So it's talking about the heaven and the hell, that the heaven, the paradise, is such a beautiful place that no place on this earth that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has ever seen such a more beautiful place than heaven. And hellfire is such a scary place that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam hasn't ever seen a place which is more scarier than the hellfire. So now, Inna lil muttaqina mafaza, it's talking about for the pious people that there is achievement. Hadaiqa wa anaba, gardens enclosed and vineyards. Wa kawa'iba atraba, and maidens of companions. So the first ayat we're talking about is Inna lil muttaqina mafaza. We have already talked about muttaqin, those who are pious, those who have taqwa, and it can go in a more detailed explanation, as muttaqin can either go into the meaning as according to some of the mufassirin. They say that muttaqin are those that stay away from the bad path, those that have the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And according to some mufassirin, muttaqin is taken from taqwa, meaning those that try to, if there is something which is mashkuk, which is doubtful, if whether it is halal or haram, so they stay away from it. So those, according to some mufassirin, those are the muttaqin, those that have taqwa. But as the dominant opinion is the first one, is that the muttaqin are those that are pious, that stay away from sins, that have fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within their hearts, and do good actions for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For them is the mafaza. Mafaza, though I translated it as achievement, but the original meaning of mafaza is they would get the reward of the action they do. So if they do a lot of good actions, then they would get a lot of ajr for it. If they do little action, then they would get the reward of how much actions they did. And the meaning for this is in Jannah, the heavens are divided into 7. There are 7 heavens. There's one on the first sky, second sky, third sky, fourth sky, fifth sky, sixth sky, and seventh sky. The name of the 7th sky is Jannatul Firdaus, where Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam would be. All these 7 heavens, they all are heavens, paradise, but the level of them are different. And the person, according to his rank, he would be placed in the heaven where he's supposed to be at. So the person that has done little action but has died with iman will go into the first heaven. But the one that are from the shuhada, the one that are really pious, that have done many good deeds, they will be from the higher levels of the Jannah. So this is the meaning, inna lil muttaqina mafaza, that how much action you will do, that's how much you would be rewarded. So إِنَّ لِلْمُتَّقِينَ مَفَازًا حَدَائِقَ وَأَعْنَابًا. This حَدَائِقَ وَأَعْنَابًا is a tafsir, is explaining of what they will be given. As paradise, heaven, Jannat is also known as a garden. So حَدَائِقَ وَأَعْنَابًا, even in the paradise they will be given gardens and vineyards. So they would be given, Hadaiq is the jama of hadiqa, which means not a small garden, just a small one, but rather those gardens that are very vast. And vineyards, it's coming in the same meanings as gardens, but just to more explain on the reward that those who believe, their reward, what they will get. And just to sometimes think about it, how much beautiful these places would be, how much a person would be relaxed. As I told you, the narration that Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that I was shown heaven and there was nothing more beautiful that I have ever seen than heaven. So if you Google vineyards and see the pictures for those vineyards, you will see such beautiful places on those pictures. And just to think about it, those pictures, when you see them, you feel relaxed. And this is something to think about, that the heaven, the gardens in the paradise will be much more beautiful than these gardens on this earth. So when a person will be in those gardens, when he would look around and he would go around his gardens, the person will feel so relaxed with the beauty of those gardens. And وَكَوَاعِبَ أَتْرَابًا, like again now I said that these ayats are talking about paradise and the reward that those that go into paradise would get. So the first one was they would get vineyards and gardens, and وَكَوَاعِبَ أَتْرَابًا, and maidens of companions. This is talking about the hurs, about the in Jannah, in paradise, those that are pious would be pious men. They would be given hurs. And the description of hur is they would be beautiful girls, as according to some mufassirin and some muhaddis, those who have written hadith, such as as Imam An-Nisai, the author of Sunan An-Nisai. He says that the meaning of hur is such girls who would be transparent to the marrow of their bones, and that they would always be young, and they would be hairless except the eyebrows and the head. So they would be such beautiful girls. These are the meaning of hurs, and they would be the one that would be given to those in Jannah. As for the ladies, so they themselves would be transformed into a hur. As mentioned in a hadith, it's mentioned by Hasan Basri that once old woman came to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and that woman asked that, Ya Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, please make dua that Allah enters me into Jannah. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he replied that, O mother of so and so, ya Fulah, an old woman cannot enter Jannah. So that old woman said that, make dua for me that I enter Jannah. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in a playful mood, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that an old woman would not go into Jannah. And the reason the muhaddis, the people of hadith, they mostly mention this in the chapter of being in a being in a playful state, but not joking in a harmful manner or in a manner that you are lying. So Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was not, his sifat, his attribute was not that he was someone that was an angry man or used to stay angry all the time, but he used to be very joyful. He used to, what do you say, as you can say, he used to kid around with other people. So he was basically talking to the old woman, and he was just wanting to be in a playful mood. So she said she was an old woman, and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that an old woman would not go into Jannah. When Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that, so the old woman took it to her heart that an old woman would not go into Jannah, and she was thinking that if an old woman would not go into Jannah, then where would I go? So she started to become sad. But Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam then said that an old woman would not go into Jannah because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make all the women of Jannah young again. So the real thing that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wanted to tell that the ladies would turn into a young woman again. And the Qur'anic ayat is inna insha'hunna insha faja'alnahunna abkara uruban atraba. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, lo, we have created them a new creation and made them virgins, lovers, and equal into age. So this is the scenario. The pious men would be given many hurs. There's different narrations of how many, and this is also going according to ranks. Like I said, in al-muttaqina mafadha. So according to some hadiths, those that would be in the first paradise would be given 2, and according to the rank of how many people, how much that person did good acts. And a person can do many good acts, as there's a hadith that the reward of it is that you will be getting a hur in Jannah. For example, the hadith that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam has said, whoever he's angry but he controls his anger, so on the day of judgment Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will let him choose any hur he wants. So there are so many other good deeds that you can do, that this would be one of the rewards. So this second ayat from Surah Waqi'ah, it says uruban atraba. It's talking about the hurs. It's giving a description about them. It says that they would be equal in age. That's the meaning. The word that I want to say over here is atraba, because the ayat that I've recited before from Surah An-Naba is wakawa'iba atraba. So atraba, which means is to be al-qirā'ah fi san, is to be equal in age. So all the women, all the females that would be in Jannah would be of equal age, and they would not increase on it. وَكَأْسًا دِحَاقًا, going on further with the next ayat, وَكَأْسًا دِحَاقًا لَا يَسْمَعُونَ فِيهَا لَغْوًا وَلَا كِذَّابًا. This ayat is basically talking about وَكَأْسًا دِحَاقًا means and a full cup, and they will not hear vain talks nor lying. So this ayat is what do you say? Ka's. The word ka's means a full cup. Full. Waka'sa means full, and dihaqa means full cup. So the same 2 words are being used with the same meaning. The only difference that comes is ka's means full, and dihaqa means full cup. And whenever a situation happens like this, it's not meaning that full and full cup, but rather the ka's is becoming ka's means cup, and dihaqa means full. So it's not meaning that full cup or cup full cup, but rather a cup that would be full, as the word dihaqa is going as an attribute now, rather than meaning full cup, it is meaning full. So ka'san dihaqa would be a full cup. And there are the definition of ka'san dihaqa, there are, according to the ulama, there are different opinions about it. The majority of the ulama have said that the meaning of ka'san dihaqa is that a cup that would be full of wine, while there are other ulama that have said a cup that would be full of milk or water, as they take the narration that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he would be on the day of judgment, he would be given the Kawthar, the river, the reservoir of Kawthar, then he would distribute cups of water. So some ulama have said that ka'san dihaqa means the cups of water. But the majority have said the cups of wine. And the reason for that is, first, the ayat, وَيَسْقَوْنَ فِيهَا كَأْسًا كَانَ مِزَاجُهَا زَنْجَبِيلًا. This is an ayat which says that they will drink with a cup whereof the mixture of it is of zanjabil. This ayat is basically talking, it has the same word, ka'san, that they would drink a full cup of wine, which would be a mixture of zanjabil. When you say wine, the mixture of zanjabil would be a wine which would not be intoxicating you, which would not make you lose your senses. So this is this ayat is supporting that ayat, the part that ka'san dihaqa means, or ka'san dihaqa means a cup full of wine. And they would, as I was describing zanjabila, so this wine in Jannah, in paradise, it would be such a wine in which you would not lose your senses. As you, if you see in the wine or the alcohol in today's day, you see that they can make you intoxicated, they can make you lose your senses. A person does not know what he does anymore if he drinks a little more alcohol than basically what he's supposed to do. Then it makes him do so many bad actions, such as texting your ex, as it's very known that when a person is drunk, he tries to text his ex. So, as I was saying, that the person does so many actions that he does not want to do, and there has been so many cases that when a person is drunk, he goes off to driving and then he gets into a accident because he's not in his senses. So the wine that would be in the akhirah, in Jannah, in paradise, it would not be like the alcohol over here, it would not be like the wine over here that a person would lose his senses. And this is one of the main reasons why Islam has prohibited alcohol, is because a person does not stay in his senses anymore. So Islam is basically keeping you away from texting your ex a message that you do not want to text her. Then the next ayat, وَكَأْسًا دِحَاقَ لَا يَسْمَعُونَ فِيهَا لَغْوًا وَلَا كِذَّابًا. This ayat is also supporting the part that the ka'san dihaqa is talking about the wine, because the translation for لَا يَسْمَعُونَ فِيهَا لَغْوًا وَلَا كِذَّابًا, and they will not hear any bad talks nor any lies. So, like I've already mentioned, that when a person over here on the, if he drinks alcohol over here, when he loses his senses, then he goes and does, and he says some actions, he gets into fights, and he does some actions that he does not want to do, because the guy does not have his senses. Now, the alcohol on the wine on the Day of Judgment will not be like that. The person would not lose his senses. The people in Jannah, they would not do any laghu, they would not talk any bad talks. The meaning of laghu is unnecessary talks, which is not necessary. And to take example, basically all these mockeries and jokes that are not useful, they are known as laghu. And this laghu is only happens in the worldly life, but now would not happen in Jannah. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he mentioned in a hadith that if you say to your friend on the day of Friday, when he's listening to a khutbah, and you say to him that listen to the khutbah, this is also laghu, because you're saying something which was not necessary. The person was already listening to the khutbah and you're telling him to listen, so this is laghu. And this is basically a minimum understanding of laghu, as joking and all that goes into a more deeper part of love. This is something which a person cannot even think about, that okay, you're telling him to listen, but this part is also laghu. So in the Jannat, they would not do any useless talks, and wala kidhaba, they would not lie. They would not, like I said, in some people lie while they're joking. So those type of lies and any other type of lie, that would not happen in the Day of Judgment. جزاء حسابا. Continuing on. جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا. This ayat is basically transferring this one and the one after. These two ayats are transferring the part from when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Jannat and the rewards a person and the sifat and the attributes of what would happen in the Jannat. This ayat is now talking from that part to the part of Qiyamah. So this is this جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا, this being a reward from their Lord, a well-calculated grant. Now the word jaza over here is fatha, and as you know that in my tafsir in these classes we would talk about some nahwi points from the points of grammar. So jaza and default position in Arabic is that whenever a new sentence starts, it should be with a dhamma. It should be jaza'un. But jaza'an, when it's with fatha, with zaba, or with a kasra, then it's necessary to point out that why it has been mentioned in that way. So jaza'an has given the fatha as there is a hidden verb over there. Jazaynahu, that those that do the good actions, this is our reward to them. The Jazaynahu, we are giving them a reward. We are giving, or Jazaynahum. It's either talking to a single man, the one doing a good action, or the group that is doing the good action. Jazaynahum, we are giving them Jaza'an. We are giving them a reward. Min Rabbika, that is from your Lord. Ata'an hisaba. The word ata'an, the word ata'an is the same meaning as jaza, to give a reward. So it's repeating again, but to just as a maf'ul is basically giving you more explanation of what that reward is. So ata'an hisaba, again this is given a fatha because it's connected to jazaynahum. So we have given them a gift, a reward that is from their Lord, that is from your Lord. Min Rabbika ata'an hisaba, a well calculated grant. Hisaba normally means when a person, meaning a lot. And the reason why hisaba has been used over here is when a person does one good action, he gets the reward of doing 10 good actions. And this is a gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to the ummah of Huzur sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as the day of Mi'raj has already passed. And in the Tafsir of Mi'raj we talk about that Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he ascended towards the skies and he was given the gift of the 50 prayers. So that started off with 50, but then the whole story goes on and it decreases to only 5 prayers. But when Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was then given only 5 prayers, then he was said that these 5 prayers are equal to 50 prayers, and that every good action that the person does, he will be given the reward of 10. A person that prays 1 salah is given the reward of 10 salahs. So the 5 prayers are equal to 10 prayers. The 5 prayers are equal to the 50 prayers. So jaza'an min rabbika ata'an hisaba, that a person, he would be given a reward that is multiplied. And the word hisaba is meaning by 10. Over here, now we have talked about the heavens, and now we're going to go to the Yawm al-Qiyamah, the day of judgment, which would be the last part of this surah. The next ayat that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says is رَبِّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا الرَّحْمَنُ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا الرَّحْمَنِ لَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِنْهُ قِطَابًا. Now, the Lord of the heavens and the earth and what is between them, the all-merciful, no one will have the power to address him. So starting off, this ayat has been divided into two parts. It's first talking about رَبِّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَمَا بَيْنَهُمَا الرَّحْمَنُ, and then لَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِنْهُ خِطَابًا. So this first part, رَبِّ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, this part is Rabbi. Like I said in the grammar point, the first word that comes is should be with a dhamma. It should be Rabbu. And according to one qira'at of Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, according to his qira'at is Rabbu samawati wal ard, as he makes it beginning sentence. But according to the qira'at, which is the most famous qira'at in the world and the qira'at that we follow, it is a Rabbi. And the reason why it is Rabbi is, if you go to the previous ayat says Jaza'am mir Rabbika. Mir Rabbika, Rabbika over here is given, the ka or the Rabbika, the kaf is a zamir, basically giving you the meaning of you, your Lord. While the word Rabbi, Lord, and kaf is giving you the meaning of your Lord. Rabbi is over here with a kasra, with. So when you go in the next part, Rabbi Samawati, this is basically connected and defining Rabbika. It is another of Arabic is that whenever you're connecting a word towards a previous word that has already came, and you're connecting it towards that, or you're explaining that word with this sentence you are going to say. So this sentence starts off with the same i'rab. Over there, if it was Rabbi, then over here it would also be Rabbi, because this is explaining that. That is one of the rules of Arabic language. So Rabbi samawati wal ard, the Lord of the skies and the earth, the heavens and the earth. Wama baynahuma, and whatever is in between them. As we know that the universe is such a very vast, very big place. There's so many things within the universe. So whatever is between them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord of everything. So Rabbi samawati wal ardi wa ma baynahuma. Then this word ar-Rahmani, the most merciful. This is also again an attribute describing a sifat of Rabbi, that your Lord, the most merciful. And this is again, it's Ar-Rahmani. It has a kasra at the end, Ar-Rahmani, because it is connected, describing Rabb. But if you go to the qira'at of Ibn Mas'ud radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he says Rabbu samawati wal ard, then according to him, it's Ar-Rahmanu. La yamlikuna minhu khitaba. The day when no one will be able to speak to the Lord, meaning khitaba, no one would be, they would not be able to have any talks to the Lord, meaning address Him, which means that they would not be able to talk to the Lord until Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives them the permission. And according to some of the mufassirin, this is basically talking to the Kuffar Makkah. The whole Qur'an, this whole surah was talking to the Kuffar Makkah. But so the Mufassirin said that they were this part is talking to the Kuffar Makkah, that they would not be able to speak to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because now when they come in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now they are going to try to justify their actions, and they're trying to argue. So no one will be able to speak. And for the Muslims, they already would be quiet. They would not be speaking. So that's according to some of the Mufassirin. There is another ayat in the Qur'an. It says, يَوْمَ يَأْتِ لَا تُكَلَّمُ نَفْسٌ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِهِ فَمِنْهُمْ شَقِيٌّ وَسَعِيدٌ. That the day that would come, and the day it comes, that no one will be able to speak except by the permission of, by His permission, by the permission of the Lord. And from them would be the shaqi and the sa'id. From them would be the misfortunate and the fortunate. And as it has mentioned from another Qur'anic ayat, that the shaqi are those, the misfortunate are those that would be in the hell, and the sa'id would be those that would be in the Jannah. So meaning the kuffar and the Muslims. And now when it's saying that the day when no one will be able to talk, and from them would be the fortunate and the misfortunate, so it's talking about all of them, everyone, that no one will be able to speak until he has been granted the permission by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا يملكون لا يملكون منه خطابا, and then it's continuing on the next ayat, يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا. So on the day when the spirit, when the ruh and the angels will stand in rows, they will not speak except the one who is permitted by the Rahman, the merciful Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they will speak what is right. So this is connected to the previous act, and one of the things that I told you, that whenever a sentence starts, it will start with a dhamma, with a dhamma in the beginning. But over here, yawma yaqumu ruhu instead of yawmu. The reason why is because it is still explaining the previous ayat, that لا يملكون منه خطابا, لا يملكون منه خطابا, that no one will have the power to address him. And yawma is basically telling you the day. Yawma, the day that no one will be able to address Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when after a verb, whenever it's telling you a date or a time, this was called in Arabic zarf. So that is that would have a fatha on top. So yawma is basically a zarf, so it has the fatha. So the day that the ruh, the soul, the spirit, and wal malaikatu safa, and the angels would be standing in a line. And the dominant opinion is that the ruh means Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, that Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam would be standing and all the angels would be standing. But according to some other mufassirin, there are other meanings of ar-ruh. There are almost 8 opinions of the meaning of ar-ruh. The first opinion was Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam, which is the most dominant opinion. The second opinion is the higher position angels. So even in angels, there's angels that have different tasks. There are those in the heaven. There are those that write down the duties of others. So there's different angels that have different tasks, and all these angels have an angel that are basically, as you can say, a manager. So the angels that are working, and then there are the managers that are basically looking over these angels. So by ruh are these managers, as you can say. That's the second opinion. The third one is the honored angels. As we know that there are some angels that have been given the honor, as Hazrat Israfil, Hazrat Mikail, Hazrat Jibreel. These have been honored. So the honored angels. Well, the fourth opinion is the guardians of the angels. The fifth opinion is not the angels, but rather the children of Adam alayhi salam, the Banu Adam. The sixth is the souls of Adam, because the ruh, it can mean soul. So according to some, it's the soul of Adam, the sons of Adam. Not the, the people would not be with their body, but rather they would be with their souls. The number 7 is Qur'an, and number 8 is not the angels, but the hands, feet, and heads of the Banu Adam, their heads, feet, and hands. But like I said, these are not the dominant opinion. The dominant opinion is that by ar-ruh, it means Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam. So Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam and all the angels, they would be standing in a line, just like how we stand in a saf. We stand in a saf in namaz. They would be standing in a saf over there, and the time over there would be such an intense time on the Day of Judgment that no one would be speaking. Like it said that no one would be able to address Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even the angels would remain quiet and would only say وَقَالَ سَوَابًا. They would say what is the truth. Sawaba means haqqan, the haqq, the truth. And now when you say قَالَ سَوَابًا, because like I said that this whole ayat is also referring to the previous ayat, لَا يَمْلِكُونَ مِنْهُ خِطَابًا. So those, the Banu Adam would also not speak anything except the haqq, and they would only speak when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks them. So they would not be able to lie. Those that think that they would go away with all the sins they do, they would not be accounted for it. But when on the day of judgment when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would take hisab. So everything would come in front of them, and all the sins that they did, and you would not be able to lie in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though if you will that this action, that did you do this action, you want to say that no, you will not be able to do it, because your hands, your feet, your your body would be testifying that you did that action, you did that sin. So you would not be able to lie, you would only say the truth. وَقَالَ صَوَابًا. And the angels, as I said, that the malaika will also be standing over there. It is said that those malaika would keep on doing the tasbih of La ilaha illallah, that there is no God except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They would keep on doing the tafsir, they would keep on repeating the kalima. So this is also a haqq, that there is no God except Allah. And the ruh, as Hassan Basri radiallahu ta'ala an, he says that Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam would say, لا يدخل أحدكم إلا بالرحمة ولا يدخل النار إلا بالعمل. So a person, he would not enter the heaven, he would not enter the paradise except with the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And a person would not enter Jahannam, hellfire, except because of his amal. So this is what Hazrat Jibreel alayhi salam would say. And this is also something which is haqq, that a person would not enter Jannah except with the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that person, if your hisab kitab is done, we are sinners, then a person, if hisab kitab is done, then hellfire would be his place. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from hellfire, and may He bless us with His mercy on the day of judgment, and make of us those that enter Jannah. Ameen. Now going on, the next ayat number 39, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ الْحَقِّ فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. That is the day that is sure to come. So whoever so wishes may take refuge with his Lord. Now this part, ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمَ الْحَقِّ, is going to the first part of this chapter. عَمَّا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ عَنِ النَّبَإِ الْعَظِيمِ الَّذِي هُمْ فِيهِ مُخْتَلِفُونَ كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ ثُمَّ كَلَّا سَيَعْلَمُونَ. That no, nay, they will soon know. They will soon know. So this is saying that because in the first class, you can go and listen to the first class again. So in that they were discussing about the Qiyamah, and now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that the day of judgment is surely to come. Do not have doubts about it. This is a day which will happen. So if you want to be of the fortunate, of the Sa'id, and you want to enter Jannah, so do good actions and stay away from evil, because if you do good actions, then you would get the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if you do evil actions, then you would get the punishment of what you did. So فَمَنْ شَاءَ اتَّخَذَ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِ مَآبًا. So if you will to get into the shelter of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ma'aba, then make a returning point, a good place. That means do good actions, don't do any bad actions if you want to go in the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then the last part of this ayat is إِنَّا أَنذَرْنَاكُمْ عَذَابًا قَرِيبًا يَوْمًا يَنْظُرُ الْمَرْءُ مَا قَدَّمَتْ يَدَاهُ وَيَقُولُ الْكَافِرُ يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا. Then now this part is we have warned you of an approaching torment on a day when one will see what his hands have sent ahead, and the disbeliever would say, oh, would that I have turned into dust. So this khitab is again to the kuffar of Makkah, that we have warned you. We have told you that the day of judgment is about to come. Those that have not believed in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, those that have done evil actions, they would go into hellfire, they would go into Jahannam. So we have warned you. Do not say that we have not warned you ever, but we have given you the message that come to the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this surah, like I said in the beginning, is mostly talking about warning the kuffar of Makkah. In the first part it was talking about Yawm al-Qiyamah, then it was talking about Jahannam, and I told you the reason why in class number 2 why the mention of Jahannam has came before the mentioning of paradise. So this surah was mostly talking to the kuffar of Makkah, and this last part is now definitely talking up to the kuffar of Makkah, that we have warned you about the qiyamah and about the punishment of those that are evil. So this torment is near. Do not think away that is far. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that this torment is near, they say that the meaning that the torment is near, it can either be that the qiyamah is near, but according to some mufassirin, they say that the kuffar would be given punishment twice. They would be given once in the world and once in the akhirat. So the first one, that the torment is near, is talking about the torment that would be in the world. And there are so many examples that those that have mocked Islam, if you see the history of the seerah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his days in Mecca, so those that used to mock Islam, if you see what their situation had became, you can see for Abu Jahl, for Abu Lahab, you go and see Abu Jahl used to mock about Islam, he used to mock, he used to make jokes about Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him punishment for it. He died in Badr, in the battle of Badr, and he was killed, and then he was pulled by his legs, and he was thrown in the well of Badr, and he was disgraced because Abu Jahl, he used to have so much pride for himself that he was a leader, and this is how his ending became, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this was made his made his death like this, that he became one of those shaqi, a misfortunate person. He died, and then he was basically pulled from his feet when he was killed. Like, he wasn't even given an honorable death. He was thrown into the well of Badr. So this is one of the adab that is given to the kuffar. And ذلك اليوم إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه. So that is the day is talking about Qiyamah again, that the person, everyone would see what he has done in the worldly life. You would not be able to reject what you have done. You would come in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and your hisab kitab would be done, and everything would be asked from you, that why did you do this action, why did you do this action, and you would not be able to reject anything. You would see for yourself what you have done. If you did zulm, if you did oppression, if you did any bad actions, whatever sin you have done, though you have done it in your locked room, hiding from everyone else, no one knows about it, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows everything. So on the day of judgment, everything will come in front of you, and you will see for yourself, and everyone that would be on the day of judgment will see that what you have done. So that would be a day when a person would see what his hands have done. And the kafir would say, Ya laytani kuntu turaba, that if I were mere dust. The reason kuffar would go into hell, and over there they would not be able to bear such punishment, as we have already taught that the punishment of hellfire is very severe. It would not be something that a person can bear. So a person, the kuffar, would not be able to bear with the punishment, and he would say that if I were turned into mere dust. And the reason is, the paradise is for the humans only. So those from the sa'id, from the fortunate people, would go into Jannah, and the shaqi, the misfortunate, will go into the hellfire. While we know that in this world there is different creations also. There is the jinn. So the jinn, they would not go either into hell or hellfire, heaven or hellfire, but rather those jinn, they would turn into dust. They would be told that turn into dust, so they would just become dust. So when the kuffar, they would see that, so they would rather wish that we would have turned into dust rather than facing this punishment. And according to some mufassirin, the kuffar, the meaning of kuffar over here is shaitan, because shaitan, the Satan, is also a jinn, and this is one jinn that would go into hellfire and would be getting the punishment. And when he would see that the other jinns have turned into dust, so he would also say that if I would have been turned into dust rather than rather than having this punishment. So this is where I finish my band for today. This is Tafseer Thursday, every Thursday after Maghrib prayer, and inshallah from the next class we will start Surah Al-Nazi'at. If you like the video, please like. If you have any questions, please comment. Inshallah in the next class I will try to, if you have any questions, I will try to answer them. If you cannot ask on this video, you can private message me, no problem. If you did like this video, please share. If you have not liked my page, please like my page, and make sure you share it with others. Inshallah we would come up with more programs. This is Tafseer Thursday. Inshallah we would come with Arabic classes and even more. Just stay in tune with my page. Inshallah you would get to hear more programs. If you have any questions, you can ask me. I make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allahumma rabbana atina fid dunya hasana wa fil akhirati hasana wa qina adhab an-nar. الصلاة من ذرية ربنا وتقبل دعاء ربنا اغفر لي ولوالدي وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. اللهم ربنا لا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا. ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Give us the tawfiq of learning the Qur'an. Give us the tawfiq of understanding the Qur'an. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Put the Qur'an into our chest. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Give us the tawfiq of keep on reciting the Qur'an. Give us the tawfiq of teaching this Qur'an to others. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Make us of those that are the sa'id, are the fortunate, that do good actions. Ya Allah, keep us away from those that are evil. Ya Allah, keep us away from Jahannam. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, we ask you, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, keep us away from keep us away from hellfire. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Whatever dua we could ask, Ya Allah, Rahman, whatever is good for us, Ya Allah, please grant us that. Wa sallallahu ta'ala ala khair khalqi Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Jazakallah khair for joining us. Please share this video and do like my page and do join us for the next class of Tafseer Thursday. Ameen.